Hello everybody, welcome back to Addiction to Language. Now today let's continue on looking at the concept of which we've been doing in the last few videos, and we'll have a look at another application of the prefix in use. And let's have a look at it now in the word retaliate and the idea of retaliation in general. Okay, now as we said, the re prefix in our language means to do again. Okay, and the tally up here, T-A-L-Y, is sort of like a misrepresentation, or the tally down here relating to keeping scores is a misrepresentation of this tally. Either way, they're just different representations linguistically of exactly the same idea and phonic, the tally. Okay, and with the word retaliation, we primarily use it in a negative context. We refer to it, as getting back at each other in a negative way. One bad act traded for another bad act. Okay, and so, but as it is with all words, that's just a definition that has come in place of a much more primal meaning to the word, which doesn't have a perspective of positive or negative either way. Okay, the tally or the retally is simply observing a constant thing that is present that we observe around us. Okay, and we summarize the idea of what we're witnessing around us and observing. We summarize that linguistically by selecting letters which have meanings that align to that idea. Okay, so that's a bit of background there of what's going on. But of course, obviously, with our retaliation and using the word in a negative context is very appropriate, because that's a negative behavior that humanity can't seem to get past. We just have to keep getting back at each other, tit for tat. Okay, so what we can do here though is look at the root letter of the tally, and the tally, which is the letter T. And oh, look what you can do with the letter T. You can keep score. And we're going to just trade here, and we're going to keep a score. You can do it this way if you like. Oh yes. As long as we make sure no one gets in front of the other one. Okay, in terms of bad acts, it's quite okay for someone to rack up a tally of money that's way out of balance, but when it comes to our endless forever wars, what we have here is just endless retaliation. Okay, keeping score. And oh, what more coincidence that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Okay, and here are our eyes being traded for eyes. Quite disturbing, really, if you ask me. But anyway, that's what we have there in the actualities of things. Let's brighten it up a little and take it off the negative context of our terrible behavior. Let's try and get this adjusted for you. Sorry, this board is a little bigger. That's a bit better. Okay, so in the retally, we have exactly the same letters as the word retail. All we do is shift the I across into there, and it is the word retail as well, because it is exactly the same idea carried through, just in a different representation. Okay, but the letters are the same, so the meaning is the same. And we retaliate, we are retailing, we are retallying, we're keeping score. Okay, as we saw back over on the other page there. Okay, we're balancing the books, we're keeping the ledger balanced, and that's the root idea behind the word retail. The real deeper meaning, forget the definitions, the deeper meaning is the exchange, the trade of back and forth. Okay, trading back and forth. And that's why when we then omit the prefix, we're left with the tail or the tally. And when we look at it in terms of our words that are tail related, down here, our tails and our tails, Okay, with the tale, we trade stories with each other. Okay, the tales are things that we're going to trade with each other. We will end up retailing our stories back and forth, and swapping stories is another expression that we use to describe the idea. Okay, when it comes to the tale, well, now we can have a look at what the actual coded original meaning of the root letter is. Okay, our T, remember back over here with our tally. Okay, the coding for letter T is anything that begins and ends, or the idea of beginning and ending. Okay, you can primarily just to say, okay, T represents the idea of beginnings. Okay, it's points at which things commence. But of course, the point at which anything commences is also the end of something else. Okay, that's a nice little bit of philosophical thought there. Something may not begin without it also being the end of something else. The beginning or the presence of something is the end of the absence of something. Okay, so that's the idea going on there. Okay, so every tale on an animal is something that has a beginning and ending. Every tale in a story has something that has a beginning and ending. Every trade, every transaction in the retail has a beginning and ending. We engage in contract, and we discharge the contract. All right, guys, there you go. There's a deeper little look at the connections going on with the word retail, retaliate, and tales in general. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that one. Catch you all again soon.